Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Chris Kenny, president of Social5 Development Group. Welcome you here to our online webinar discovery session. Could I ask you to all do me a favor real quick? I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay and that everybody can see the screen. So if you don't mind doing a quick check and raising your hand for me if you can hear me okay and if you can see the screen all right. And I'm seeing hands go up. Okay, terrific. Thank you, everyone. Wanted to make sure that everything was going okay. Again, I'm really pleased to welcome you all to our webinar broadcast this afternoon. I am thrilled that so many of you could make it and be able to join us and give us an opportunity to share our story with you and to be able to take your questions. Along the way, if you have any questions, just be sure and take advantage of the question box there and type it in there, and we will get to those as we work our way through the presentation. So again, I want to welcome everybody here. Glad you could join us. We are going to be joined from some of my colleagues at Social5, and we'll be joined by Jeremiah Stetler and Rob Wellman, and I'm going to do an introduction of those guys here in just a second. What I'd like to do here is take care of just a quick legal disclaimer here and make sure we kind of set the precedence for our presentation here, and it may even answer some questions that we can't answer, so to speak. So anyways, legal disclaimer. Neither Social5 Development Group nor any of our representatives can make any oral, written, or visual representation to a prospective purchaser concerning potential sales, income, market size, gross or net profit. As part of their own due diligence, prospective licensees will have to go through an exercise to review, but not limited to the sales packages, commission structure, retention, market size, and sales estimates, and draw their own conclusions. Prospective buyers must, by their own means, draw conclusions to whether this is the best opportunity for them. In addition, we make no representations to the purchaser that they will derive income from this business opportunity that will exceed the price paid for the business opportunity. Those interested in the business opportunity need to read and fully understand the associated license agreements. So with that taken care of, I'm starting to see a few more folks join us. So again, this is Chris Kenny, the president of the Social5 Development Group. Want to welcome you here to this today. Just so to make sure everybody's familiar, Social5 Development Group is the license, sales, and support arm, while Social5 is the service delivery arm that does all the research, development, provisioning, and support of all the digital marketing and social marketing or social media services. So with that said, we've got a presentation here for you that we hope will hit all of your questions, be able to help you learn more about this business opportunity, perhaps even spark some more questions for you. So as I mentioned to those earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and type those questions in. We'll do our best to cover them as we go along the way and make sure that we're able to answer and provide any information that you do need. So again, today I'm joined here with Social5 CEO Rob Wellman and the Chief Content Officer Jeremiah Stetler, who are going to take you through the PowerPoint presentation today. Want y'all to pay close attention, and again, if you've got any questions, pop them up there on the screen. A little later on, I'm going to have Rich Christensen, the CTO of Social5, join us. We've got some questions that he answers for everybody. These are typical questions that are answered or have received recently. We want to make sure you have a chance to hear from Rich. So let's get right to it with Jeremiah and Rob. So guys, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Chris. Rob Wellman here. Let us review the agenda for today's discovery session. I'm going to talk briefly about this world of social media and the industry that we're in. I'm going to outline the market opportunity as we see it and our approach to the market. We'll give you some idea of what our momentum is to date. We'll outline the competitive advantages of Social5. You'll see our solution. We'll show you some case studies. And you'll also get a view into the customer on-ramp experience and then what Social5 Development Group has in place to support our partners that join this opportunity. So that's what we intend to cover today. So let's get started first with this social media industry. Let's talk about it just a minute. Why social media is really changing the way the world operates. First of all, here's some data from Forrester Research. $9.7 billion will be spent this year on social media marketing, and it's expected to be 17.3 billion by 2019. Those are astronomical numbers. Of all business owners surveyed by Forrester, 70% indicated that they would increase their social marketing budget this year. And keep in mind that 25% of all advertising is internet advertising. That's amazing when you consider television, radio, billboards, and all the various newspapers and magazines. 25% of all marketing in the US is internet social media marketing. It's a big, big market. Another way to look at this is one of the early players in social media was a company called MySpace. And in 2005, they sold to News Corp for $580 million. MySpace really doesn't exist much today, but was sold for $580 million. Now look what's happened since then. Starting in 2012, Facebook bought Instagram for $1 billion. And then Facebook offered Snapchat $3 billion in 2014. And by the way, they declined that offer. They declined an offer from Google, and this summer they were valued at $15 billion. So good choice from Snapchat not to accept the $3 billion offer. We thought they were crazy at the time not to accept $3 billion for their company. That's how quickly this industry is growing. And then in February of 2014, Facebook bought a company called WhatsApp for $19 billion. So look at those numbers and then consider this. The Great Washington Post 10 years ago or 11 years ago was worth $2 billion and recently sold for $250 million. So what you're seeing here is a major shift from traditional advertising like newspaper to the world of digital and online. And this space is for real. One other way to look at it, if you look at some of the great marketing communication tools of their time, radio being the first one, took 38 years to reach 50 million listeners, then television, 13 years to reach 50 million, then the internet, and then comes along social media. It only took Facebook 9 months to reach 100 million users. Today, they're reporting 1.5 billion monthly users. And what everybody's buzzing about isn't just the speed that it took to get there, but how much time people are spending online. A recent study indicates that 1 out of every 7 minutes online is spent on Facebook. So a business that doesn't have a presence in this world of Facebook and social media is really missing an opportunity in today's world. Here's a very interesting development. A couple of weeks ago, on August 28th, the CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, indicated that for the first time in the history of their business, 1 billion people logged on in a single day. Now think about that for a minute. There's roughly 7 billion people on the earth, and 1 out of 7 in a single day logged on to Facebook. That is staggering. There's never been anything like it in television and radio or any other platform. This thing is for real. And businesses that are learning how to take advantage of the new digital frontier are separating themselves and becoming a leader in their particular industry. So maybe just one last way to look at it. Yesterday's options for small businesses to market are listed up on screen, and they are yesterday's options. It doesn't mean that people aren't still utilizing television or radio or newspaper, but there's a major shift to the world of online and mobile. And that's because it's very disruptive, it's very cost effective. You can actually get actual data versus estimate data. You can change things out very quickly. You can include pictures and video and audio and sound, where you could never do that on a billboard. And it's 7 by 24 and it's lights on access all the time. The new world is here, it's for real, and it's online, it's digital, it's mobile, it's social. That's the new frontier to communicate with current and future customers. Okay, and in case you missed it, this has already happened. The mobile devices have now taken over the desktop device for internet access. And as social and mobile continue to grow, keep in mind that this digital platform is still the longest running and the most connected social tool today, and that's email. 182 billion emails are sent every day. So why do we bring up mobile, social, and email as part of our backdrop to this Discovery Day? Well, here's why. Social5 is helping people in the new digital marketplace reach their current and future customers. And we do that with social, mobile, and email solutions, as well as some others that we're going to indicate today. So in the new competitive digital marketplace, Social5 has remarkable tools designed for small business owners to help them in their social, mobile, email, and other internet marketing objectives. Okay, so let's talk about the addressable market. How big is this opportunity? You're looking at it as a business possibility for you. I'm sure, believe that social media is for real. That's one of the reasons you're here. Everything around us proves that. But how big is the opportunity? How many customers are there that are interested in these type of solutions? Here's one way to look at it. A U.S. study indicated that 86% of businesses in America have less than 14 employees. So think about how massive this market is. That's who we're going after. We're going after the companies that have less than 10 to 14 employees. This report says there's 5.73 million of those businesses. But I can tell you this is the most conservative report you could look at. Other reports will indicate that there's upwards of 30 to 50 million businesses in the United States with less than 10 to 14 employees. And part of the reason for that discrepancy is that an individual loan officer doesn't have employees, but they're still an individual business. A realtor is an individual business. So when you aggregate together businesses in America, you can see why many reports would suggest that there's 30 to 50 million small businesses in the United States. Again, that's just the United States. Social5 is in 11 countries and growing. So we've talked about social media and how real it is. We've talked about how big the market opportunity is for social media. Let me turn it to Jeremiah for some additional insight on how we're approaching the market.
Yeah, I think and great discussion, especially in those small businesses here. And really what we are looking at is with a small business with 1 to 14 employees, they don't have a lot of time or resources or bandwidth to go around. And so if they want to get into marketing and social media marketing, which they ought to from a competitive standpoint, there are a few things that would be required for an effective strategy. And the first one really is a graphic designer, someone that can put a real professional storefront on their business on social media. Just in the same way that you wouldn't open up a new store with peeling paint, you want to have nice graphics that are appealing on your social media channels and make sure that there's some consistency across social media platforms. The next one really is a professional writer. As someone who knows not only your industry, but also knows how to write for a social media audience and also understands the potential pitfalls to watch out for so you don't find yourself up on that list of the top 10 social media faux pas that are out there. So you want someone who can provide a diversity of content that would appeal to your audience. Next is a technology expert that can leverage these channels in ways that you may not, know how to do on your own. This could be, for instance, how many of you know that on Facebook you can have up to 3 additional inside pages on Facebook on your business page that you could post a page about your business or a link back to your LinkedIn site. You could post some lead capture information. We provide technology that allows you to leverage your social media channels effectively, as well as taking advantage of some mobile business tools. The next would be a social media strategist. What channels make the most sense for your budget? If you're a B2B business, you probably want to think about LinkedIn. If you are a restaurant or a clothing retail, or maybe Pinterest sounds good to you. That there are multiple social media channels that you can take advantage of if you know where to turn. And then lastly, there are a whole bunch of different components that will come into play once you start accelerating your social media strategy. When you look at contesting to build engagement, when you look at advertising, pay-per-click advertising there on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, SEO to be found, photos. Too many people end up grabbing images offline that are copyright protected, and they find themselves with a legal claim in their mailbox. So how to have copyright protected images, crossing those legal bridges, email marketing, all of those are important parts of a social media strategy. So let's talk a little bit about our approach, really, and it's a turnkey solution. We do it for you. It's not a self-help tool. It's a we do it for you tool. We provide a team of experts, and we're also cost conscious. We want to make it affordable for that small business with 1 to 14 employees who may not be able to afford it on their own. So let's show you the different models that a company could look into. You see down there at the bottom, self-help tools is a way that many businesses are trying to go right now simply because they haven't been able to figure out the content model. But you can have a self-help tool where the business does it for themselves and we provide support. Traditional marketing is another where you can put up a billboard, radio advertising, television ad, or you take it in-house and hire a social media specialist that can help do your strategy. But ours really is leveraging that larger market that is an outsourced model where we provide that expertise in digital media management with graphics, content, technology, diverse content, and the ability to coordinate with a client to make it as effective as possible. So really, we've had some great success and momentum at this point. We currently are in multiple countries. We're serving multiple languages, English, Spanish, and French, with more that are in development. Hundreds of industries that we are in. I think we're currently serving just under 300 different industries, and then literally thousands of clients that are out there. So the reason the thing that has made our company, so trying to think how to say, I mean, so appealing. I mean, the thing that's made it accelerate as quickly as it has is really 3 items that I'll talk about in these competitive advantages, and I'll touch real quickly on them here, and then we'll explore them in a little bit more detail. But really, the first one is content creation. I mentioned there are a lot of self-help tools out there, and a lot of companies that come to us and ask how to crack that content code. Okay, so we have experienced professional journalists that are writing for our clients. We have a distribution platform, a technology that allows us to take that content and distribute it to multiple social channels across thousands and thousands of customers simultaneously, with the ability to give every page a unique look and feel with its content. And then finally, one of the real significant areas where we're grateful to have individuals like yourselves on this call, which is our licensing program. We are very interested in a go-to-market strategy that allows us to capture what we describe as the unfair share of the market out there. So we have the unfair advantage. And you know what? We have an open playing field right now. No one does exactly what we do. Okay. And so we're relying on partners like yourselves to bring this to market.
And let me add, Jeremiah, before you hit content, I hope that you who are listening to the program today recognize that the three advantage of Social5. One of those pillars is our partnering program. We believe so much in the land grab and the opportunity that we want to have an abundance mentality, share with our partners, and have speed to market. It's critical that we have speed, and that's why we've selected this go-to-market channel. So with that, Jeremiah, I think you'll cover some more about content, right, and our advantages there.
Absolutely. So let's jump into the content side of it. Everything in our business is designed for scalability. And that includes not only our technology, but also the design of our content team. So let me show you a little bit. I'll pull back the curtain on how our content team operates, because as part of Social5, our commitment to you is you can walk down any street USA, go into any business and sell them a social media package and be assured that we'll be able to have a writer and a team that can execute on that business. Okay, that's our commitment. And here's how we do that: is with a mixture of both full-time and senior level talent, and with a large team of freelance beat expert writers that work underneath us. So really, there's a senior editing team, which really is the heartbeat of the content engine. These are individuals from major publications, marketing firms that come in that have a great ability not only to write content, but also communicate with customers. They oversee a team of line editors, or these are individuals who oversee 6 to 7 writers apiece. They have different levels of expertise. Some focus on construction, some real estate, some insurance, some beauty and apparel. Really some amazing folks out there that deal with day-to-day operations, while our senior editing team provides overall guidance and customer interaction. These line editors then oversee a larger freelance writing team that we believe strongly in local talent. So if you have a customer that is in Canada or in Australia, we want to make sure that we have localized talent for that. If you have a customer that comes on that is for a golf course or whatever it happens to be, we want someone with beat level expertise to take that over. And so we quickly scale that freelance writing team, and then we treat it like a farm team. Okay, so our highest performing writers are able to work their way up the ranks into to become an editor. And those who are the highest performing on those line editing team is able to move up into a senior staff position. So that's a little bit of how that works behind the scenes. Now take a look at the talent here, and this is important. We don't want to just give lip service to the idea that we have high quality, high talent writers. Take a look at this real estate team, okay, led by Leslie Mitchell, managing editor, who is a journalist with 19 years of professional real estate experience at newspapers such as USA Today, the Arizona Republic, and the Salt Lake Tribune. Major publications, veteran journalist. Now take a look at the writers who are underneath her, who are part of that core real estate team. Ward Lowe is the Director of Communications for the Texas Association of Realtors. Irene Didio, Chief Content Writer for Premier Sotheby's International Realty, 20 years of professional writing experience. Jeff Marcus actually still works at the Washington Post, does work for us on a real estate beat. He has 15 years of professional experience. And then David Moley, who's the president and CEO of a company called Lender Insider that provides numbers and data and industry news to mortgage loan officers. Okay, and some of that content, we talk about the years of experience these individuals have, but the content is a mixture of things that are hard news items and fun things as well that perhaps the customer may not know how to write on their own. One of the great ones, you'll see that actually right in the middle. I wish I made it a little bit bigger. It's do you remember when Meghan Trainor came out with All About the Bass? song. It was great, big hit, trending a lot. And so we had a customer that was focusing on butter. Okay, so we had this spoof post on all about the baste for turkeys at Thanksgiving time. Okay, so that's the type of content that we focus on. Now, our content really wouldn't be anything without a powerful distribution system that could get it out there, because we can scale our content all day long and bring on writers, but unless we have the ability to send it out to all of these customers on our system, it doesn't work. So let me show you behind the scenes, what this looks like. And it's a system that allows our writers go into our Social5 platform, which we refer to as the S5 CDS, and they can input their content. So let's say it is about dentistry, that we're writing about a 4,000-year-old filling that they discovered in an archaeological find. Okay, so they would write their content in their system, and the ways that we can target that are pretty phenomenal. We can target that content so that it will only go out in New Zealand, or that it's only going to go out in Uganda, or that it's going to go out in Texas and Mississippi. We can target that anywhere in the anywhere in the world. We can base it on language, upon the customer's sensitivity to self-help tips or content that may not be specifically about their brand. Then we can devise a schedule for them that is uniquely customized. So even if they are an insurance agency, we could also sprinkle in their favorite barbecue recipes, and we can put in some inspirational quotes. All of those things are able to be programmed into the system so that it can go out on a scaled level to thousands at once. So with that, let's talk a little bit about the licensing program, and I'll pass it over to Rob on this topic.
Okay, so with world-class content, which is the basis for any good social media program, and a technological engine that allows us to do it efficiently, we can bring a price point down to a small business owner that's just a no-brainer. And so how do we get this amazing content and technology delivery system in place with a customer across the United States where there's just thousands and millions of these small businesses? We do it with our licensing strategy. And Social5 Development Group is specifically designed to help our licensed partners execute well with social media in their particular markets or their target audience that they want to go after. We want to give you a little insight on how this works. So maybe a baseball analogy is the best way to look at this. Our sales approach includes helping our partners sell single businesses every day. And it also includes working on some bigger opportunities that you might call doubles, triples, or home runs. Some of the examples of doubles, triples, and home runs are associations, franchise, strategic accounts, direct selling or MLM companies, and affiliate organizations. Let's talk first about single businesses. Here are some customer examples of single businesses that have joined our service in the last 30 to 90 days through our partnering program. And I want you to see the breadth of organizations that have joined. And this is simply a visual snapshot of their mobile suite that we built for them. Here's a mortgage company. Here's a real estate company. Here's an Allstate insurance company. Here's a clothing company. Here's a landscape or pool company. Here's a technical or IT company. Here is a veterans business or a military type business. Here's a construction business. Take a look at the medical profession. Here's a foot and ankle institute. Here's an eye institute. Here's I don't know what kind of doctor that is, neurology. And here is a spa. You got a weight loss program. Here's another wellness products, nutritional products. Here's an athletic type company. Again, these are just examples of businesses that have joined just in the last few weeks. A mosquito guy, HVAC. Here's a dry cleaner. Here's a heavy construction business. Here's an engineering company, collision repair, battery bills, Here's an electrician out of Denver. A couple other just quick examples: a catering company, a high-end restaurant, pizza, water filtration, go-karts, a vending machine, and Scourge and Barley home brewing. And hey, if you get caught with moonshine, you got an attorney to bail you out. And we just want you to see the diversity of businesses in in this last quarter. We're approaching almost 1,500 new businesses that have joined Social5 in the last quarter. I'm talking in Q3 2015. We're approaching 15,000 new independent small business owners, and these are an example of a few of those. Now, let's talk about some of the bigger opportunities. As you look at a discovery day, you're trying to understand who can I sell to and what does that look like? One of the things we've been doing over the last few years is piloting very lucrative places to sell our services. One example of that is associations. I met with one of our licensed partners this week with the Association of Psychologists. And during that meeting, we met with their board and they agreed to make our service available to all the members of their chapter in this particular state. I think they had 330 individual psychologists in that state. And they also indicated that they would connect us with their colleagues in other states. And we've had very, very successful work with different associations. I'm going to click on just show you one of this. This is a medical association that one of our partners put together, one of our licensed partners. And what you'll notice here is we created a landing page where this association could educate all of their members about social media services. We even put together a video that explained the service. And then down below, when a physician or doctor has interest in learning more about social media, they simply fill out their information here, click submit, and that lead goes directly to our licensed partner who follows up on the lead and works that opportunity. So what we're trying to portray here is that associations are a very lucrative place to do work. Franchises. America is made up of franchises. Here's 3 examples on screen here. I'm going to click on one of these so you can see the live assets. I know one of our master license partners put this franchise opportunity together. And this is the blog for that organization that Jeremiah's team of writers are creating. I could click here and look at their Facebook page. You'd notice the great graphic images and the way this has been designed by the graphics team. You'll notice the content flowing, very visual, creative. So again, there's an example of a live franchise. And you'll notice that these tabs have been lit up to provide a portal for the business. You could click on the tab, take you right to the website of this organization. So you see how everything is interactive and connected together. So the point that we're trying to make here is associations is a really good place to spend time. And if you Googled associations in your city or state, you would be amazed at how many there are. And same with franchises, they're everywhere. Another example is strategic accounts. Jeremiah is going to talk a little bit about Kaiser Permanente in a moment as a case study, but I want to show you a live example of Security National Mortgage. This was a partnership that was developed. They have 800 loan officers. And what's really unique about this is they like it so much that their loan officer only pays $25 or $75 of a $300 package, and the mortgage company themselves pays the rest because they believe in it so much. And you can click on a video where the president of this organization introduces Social5, and then individuals can click a sign up button to get started. So that's an example of a strategic partnership that can be put together by our licensed partners. So associations, franchises, strategic companies, direct selling organizations. We literally have thousands of distributors from Young Living on our system. We have thousands of distributors from USANA and Send Out Cards and others. This is a place where we're really being successful helping individual MLM distributors in collaboration with their corporate headquarters. And then finally, there's all kinds of affiliates that you might put together. You might have relationships with web designers or logo design companies. Here's an example of Authorize.net. They're a credit card processing company, and they recommend our services to all of their members that buy credit card services. Again, same idea, fill out your information, submit it, and then the partner gets the lead and gets to go to work on it. So what we're trying to portray here is really just the opportunities that you have to create sales. And again, it's this idea of singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. And we tell our licensed partners, be working on the singles, and then let us help you on some of these bigger opportunities. I'm so excited to tell you today, we had a licensed partner join us last week.
Yep.
And today, we on-ramped 6 businesses. And I don't want to give away, his information without his permission. But what I can tell you is that each one of those businesses is paying $850 a month in services. And these first 6 are a pilot, and they anticipate bringing another 26 on in the next 30 to 60 days, assuming that these first 6 go well. How exciting is that for a licensee to join us last week and bring on 6 businesses today that are paying $850? And hey, just a really fun success story. And we see that every day in our licensing program. Let me turn it back to Jeremiah to outline the keys for a business to take advantage of this world of social media. And then we're going to show you some case studies.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, when we bring a customer onto the system, we start them out with really the first step is identifying which of the social platforms would benefit them most. If we want to have them on a Facebook or LinkedIn or a Twitter platform. Very important, we also equip them with a mobile strategy and mobile business tools so they can capture leads and start generating business on their mobile device. The next step really is to make them look good visually, and this is where we go through a graphic design process and give them that look and feel that's consistent across all the platforms and also that ties into their website presence as well. Next, we want to look at consistent content, and when you're out there looking at prospects, one of the things you'll see all the time is that they will start a Facebook page or they'll start a Twitter page, and they'll do great with content for the first 2 weeks. And then it quickly peters off until there are months and months that go by without any bit of content. So we provide them consistent content that is both written material as well as video and imagery. Once they have that in place, now it's time to look at growing their audience. Okay, so this includes offering things like contesting. We're currently in the midst of a World Series contest for our customers. Last month, we gave out a trip to Hawaii, which is great. Disneyland was a big popular one as well. But that type of contesting is important, especially when you pair it with Facebook advertising, and especially when you look at social media marketing and online marketing as not just a standalone offering, but SEO strategies as well that will help you build your the visibility of your website as well as your social media channels. Once you have that audience in place, now comes a time that you're increasing engagement by improving the ranking of your website, which is one, but also boosting content on your page, getting people to comment, share, and like. Also having people personalize by getting involved in putting photos up of themselves or events or whatnot. So those are the elements that we approach. And here are the solutions really that we propose or that we offer to our customers to help them get there as their social media expert. The first one is what we call the socially savvy package. And we love to say that we take people from socially awkward to socially savvy in really just 14 days. And this is the package here. We provide the professional writers for their team and also a mobile platform so that they can start doing business right on their phone or tablet when they're out and about. Next, with that mobile device is an email and a blog engine. So we provide 2 blogs every single month and a monthly email blast to all of their customer base. Next is Facebook, the world's largest social media platform, where we'll design their page, provide them content every single week, multiple times a week there on Facebook. Then we provide apps that enhance that page. These are the 3 interior pages that I talked about previously, where what you'll see on this page is this customer now can link directly to their LinkedIn platform or their Twitter platform, or really see the blog engine, their blogs, right there on their Facebook page. Pretty incredible. Next is Twitter. We will tweet for them virtually every day. We make those shorter length tweets with hashtags and all of those relevant, that I guess we just call it kind of an alphabet soup of things that we do to help them. And really for this whole package, it really comes down to $250 a month. Really low price. If you want to pay annually, there is a reduction for that to be part of that package. Okay. Our most popular package is really the Zen package, and it includes all those things we talked about under Savvy, but then you move into things like a review app. And what that review app does is, we've all seen those cases where someone leaves a negative review, and it can really just sully a business's reputation, sometimes with no good reason at all. So what this app does, it lives on your Facebook page and allows people to leave reviews about your business. If it is a positive review, they have the ability to share it with everybody they know under the sun on their Facebook page. If they say no, then it allows them still to leave the review for you, but it doesn't enable the same sharing, so it protects a business's reputation. Next, we come into LinkedIn, B2B platform, where we'll post for them and provide them a mobile business card or an M card that they can text to anyone in a business setting. And then lastly, analytics. We want people to be able to measure their performance and see it in real time, which we do for them. And really, with all of these elements, $350 a month, very low, and then they can pay annually for that $3,500. And really, what you'll see when you're out there selling this in the field is those prices are unbelievably competitive. I mean, your nearest competition is going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars away. So this is our most popular package, but really our business is designed to scale in different ways. The first one we talked about, contesting. We provide scalable contesting that literally can go out to hundreds and hundreds of businesses and allow them to give away a Hawaii package. And get this, okay, so think about how much it costs to travel to Hawaii, okay? And what it takes to get two tickets and a trip out to Hawaii. It's probably going to cost more than $750 just for the price. Okay, but $750 covers the whole prize. It covers the Facebook app. It covers the data collection, the email marketing, the content that goes out there every week. It covers the advertising we do on your behalf and promoting and boosting that content on their page. Okay, so incredible value for unbelievable prizes. So that's one component. Next is we provide a scalable SEO offering where we can provide people the ability to get their business listed in literally more than 100 different online directories, which include search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing. It could be mobile directories. If you have Siri, it's a different directory than if you're on Samsung. Local directories such as Yelp or Foursquare, GPS, Maps, and then in-car directories. If you're driving a Toyota and you have GPS, chances are, well, it is a different directory than if you're in a Ford. So we provide businesses the ability to get their information out to all of these in a very affordable way. And I'm going to just pass it to Rob for a moment to show you what options you have available in selling this tool to go out and start building your revenue stream?
Yeah, so let's look at this a little more in depth. We have products for all sizes of customers. You can have a starter package for only $150 a month. Anybody that wants to get in the game of social media, come on, let's get started on Facebook, where there's 1.5 billion people, for $150. So it would cost you less than $1,500 for the year. Anybody that's not willing to do that is probably not a very good business. And then you could go all the way up to the Zen package, which is $350 a month, or most of our licensed partners are just selling the annual fee up front. They get the commission up front. It's just better that way. So these are our content packages from starter to Zen. Once you've sold them a content package, then you want to amplify that and promote that and get it out there. And so we have some amazing amplification strategies, from something as simple as $100 a month, where we do Facebook boosting and just getting that content viral for them, and then all the way up to go ahead and spend a couple of $1,000 and have the World Series, the Final Four, a trip to Hawaii and Disneyland, 4 world-class vacations. And it can really just promote their business. So there's content packages, and now you have amplification packages. And the majority of customers today are buying content plus amplification. And then once you've focused on great content and a great amplification product, then you could turn your attention to their website to help get them listed in all of these directories. You could help them get reviews online so that they have good credibility. You can do some basic SEO. And our rank product, which is the most popular there on the right, connects them into some of our high traffic networks and really drives their Alexis rankings and all of their digital presence for greater visibility on their website. So think about this. If you add rank to a contest package, to a Zen package, we call that our triple play. And that triple play is roughly $10,000 for the year. I can tell you in the last week, we've sold 4 triple plays. And we just introduced the rank product a few weeks ago. We've been piloting it for about 4 to 6 months. We really want to make sure it's ready to go, but now we've introduced that product. So I want you to think a minute as a licensed partner. Look what you have to sell. It fits any business. And what you don't see up on screen here are websites or other type things that customers might ask. This is just some of the basic services that you can sell, starting with social content, various packages, various platforms, to amplification, to helping somebody get ranked and more visible in directories and increase their traffic on their website. So a great line of products. And what you can expect from Social5 is we'll continue to innovate and come up with new products that fit into the digital marketing space. And then the Social5 Development Group will be there to help train you and make sure that you're successful. So let's kind of wrap up with a couple other key points here that I think will be important for you to see. So when a customer says, I want to get started, because that's really what you do, is you help them choose a package that fits them. You consult with them, you get them a proposal, and once they say, let's go, then you help them schedule their on-ramp session with the Social5 experts. And they'll meet with their team of experts, their graphics, their content, and their social strategists. And they'll collaborate on graphics and content and really the whole plan. And then get this, in 14 business days, they are completely live. You may not fully appreciate how significant that is, but let me describe it this way. If you go sell a customer that we've never written for before, it's a new industry, We will have hired a writer, designed their content, built their graphics, set up their blog, and have everything ready in 14 days, even if we don't have a writer in that industry. That's pretty remarkable, our commitment. And I think, Jeremiah, in the last month, we've added 25 new industries just in the last month.
Oh, easily, yeah.
And, Jeremiah doesn't always like this because we tell him, your job is to deliver any customer, any industry that one of our licensed partners brought on. And he's remarkable, and his team's remarkable at doing that. So let's go ahead and just cover a couple of quick case studies, and then we'll show you in conclusion what the customer experiences in those 14 days.
Yeah, and these case studies are important, especially when you're looking at what is the return, what can a customer expect in terms of outcomes. And I'll show you first a corporate customer. We talked about having quite a few of these direct selling companies that take part in our service, but there are also other corporations that have multiple loan officers, multiple real estate agents, multiple insurance brokers that this would be relevant on. For the latest month of data for Young Living Essential Oils, you can take a look at the number of views that they had on their page. So 8.1 million content views during the previous month through their distributors. Imagine the reach there. What kind of television station would it take to get 8.1 million views? Look up at the top under under their fan base. These are a lot of Young Living distributors tend to be, they're individual people who may not be super socially savvy. I had one person say yesterday that I'm a grandmother and I still can do it. And it really speaks to the demographic. But they increased their fan base from when they started at 435,000 fans, and they increased that almost 100%. Through our service. Pretty remarkable what could happen. The next one is a partner by the name of Kaiser Permanente. You may be familiar with them because of their work in the healthcare and insurance sector. But they did a study outside of Social5, fully independent of Social5, that they provided us with the metrics for. And based on their study, they decided that they would pay 75% of the cost of Social5 service for each broker who decided to participate in it. Now, the numbers you see up there are pretty small, but let me show you the next slide where it really gets down to the nitty gritty. What they did is they looked at all Kaiser Permanente brokers and what happened with their business year over year and compared it to brokers who participated in the Social5 program. Over all of their brokers, they saw a 5-fold increase in business year over year as part of their company. That's pretty phenomenal. I was impressed with how quickly their business is growing. But take a look at the line below in yellow, that those who participate in the Social5 program increased their business 13-fold over the previous year. So a significant difference. Down below, you'll see Summit Brokers. These are their top performing brokers. They put half in our service, left half out as part of a double-blind study to see what would happen if nothing else changed within a specific group of people. People who did participate in Social5 increased their business 5x. Those who did not increased 2x. Okay, so real tangible benefit when it comes to return on investment for these companies that you're out there selling. So let's talk then a little bit about the customer experience as we come through of when they do come on, what indeed happens to get to those outcomes.
And before we do that, Jeremiah, I want to mention to the group here that Kaiser ran a pilot program for about a year, and they paid for the service, a Social5 service for these brokers. Because it went so well, they've determined to expand that and pay for a large group of brokers. They're also opening it up to their doctors and facilities. And we recorded the rollout meeting with the executives of Kaiser, this webinar to all the brokers that they were bringing on in the phase 2. Chris Kenny, President and CEO of Social5 Development Group, has a copy of that, and I've given him authorization to share that with those that might be looking at the business opportunity that really want to hear from a customer's perspective, and there's individuals that are on that. There's the executives of Kaiser, and if I were you and I were looking at a business opportunity, that would be intriguing to me to hear what others said. So I've authorized Chris to share that with those that are evaluating it and have an interest in hearing that. So let's conclude by showing you the customer experience. What do they experience when they choose to join the Social5 services? Well, the first thing that happens is that we're going to take a look at their Facebook page, and we're going to make sure that there's professional graphics. We'll design them from scratch, or we'll work from their own style guide. We'll make sure there's a profile picture, custom tabs, and then the weekly content is loaded on. So within 14 days, they'll be visually enhanced to look something like this. They'll go from an amateur to a professional online leader. That won't be just Facebook, but it'll be LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever social channel they've selected, including their blog. And then the content team will go to work. They'll post 3 times a week on Facebook, very creative, innovative posts for engagement in their audience. They'll get 2 posts per week, say on LinkedIn, and 5 tweets to 7 tweets on Twitter. They'll also get a couple of blog posts a month as part of the service. And they'll also get email. Remember, email is one of the most powerful social tools today. And the way that's done is they'll receive their own personal mobile suite that they can use on a smartphone or on a tablet. And think of it this way, and this is so powerful even for our licensed partners. Instead of using business cards, you've got your smartphone here, and wherever you are, anytime, anywhere, any place, you can collect email addresses, and you can just grab them on the go, enter them into your smartphone, and instantly the recipient will receive an introductory email from you with your picture, a really well-written message, a link to one of your blog articles, and all your contact information. And so that individual will receive an introductory email eliminating the need for a business card, but more importantly, they'll receive ongoing monthly emails as part of this service. So maybe to summarize a basic content package, they'll get a business Facebook page, 3 posts per week. They'll get LinkedIn, Twitter. They'll get a mobile suite with a couple of blog posts a month. They'll get this email capture engine, and all done for them. So think about a small business owner to have this suite of tools for them, all built, functional, ready to go in 14 days. And then what happens is that the writing team will reach out to them, and they'll look at new ways to tweak it and adjust it and make it more hyper-local and more impactful. So this is an ongoing process where the customer talks with their writer several times a month. And one of the other benefits is that we give all of our customers a subscription to Social5 University, where they receive education and training. So this is not just a service where we do it for them, but we give them education along the way to make them better. So we've given you a lot of information today. Hopefully that answered many of your questions. We're honored that you would be investigating Social5 as one of your opportunities for business. And we're just honored that you're here. Hopefully we've answered questions, and we're going to take a moment and answer any questions that may have come in during the webinar. And then we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to hear from our Chief Technology Officer, Rich Christensen, who's built the engine and everything behind the scenes. So any questions for perhaps Jeremiah and I before we let you talk to the wizard behind the system, Mr. Rich Christensen? Chris, I don't see any questions that have popped up on screen, so we either did a great job answering them all or we bored them to death. It's one of the two. And we're just going to assume that we did an awesome job answering your question.
Yeah, very thorough, Rob.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, next up, as I mentioned earlier in the introduction, we wanted to give you a chance to hear from Rich Christensen, the CTO from Social5. And Rich is as Rob called it, the wizard behind the curtain on all of this. Earlier, Jeremiah had showed some slides on the Social5 content distribution system and the idea of being able to manage the clientele, being able to manage the content from the writers and the distribution. The person behind all of that heads all those efforts up and that keeps that all running is Rich. And Rich, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The number one question we get when people meet Rich is usually along the lines of, how do you stay so young looking? How do you stay so fit and trim and single? It doesn't make sense. Anyways, but we'll skip the answers to all of those for another time. But anyways, Rich, we get quite a few different questions and want to make sure that I've got them categorized here. And folks joining in that have asked the questions and others, I've kind of standardized these because they all seem to fall into the same similar categories each time we do this. So Rich, would really love to have you address a couple of different things for the folks that have joined us here today. And if you could you discuss the back end system that allows all these services to be delivered? Rich, a lot of the questions that have come in have been the idea of the price points that Rob and Jeremiah have shown here previously. How are we able to do that? And what is the technology that allows us to do that so efficiently and offer those price points?
Sure, absolutely. Well, let's see. So one thing that you'll hear me say a lot is sort of the magic word of the day is scaling. I like to use that word a lot because really that's kind of baked into everything that we do here at Social5. And one way I like to phrase it is if it doesn't scale, then we're just not interested. And the key to making all this happen is sort of two pieces that come into play to make all this happen. One is the content team that I'm sure Jeremiah has already spoken quite a bit about. But content isn't any good unless you can actually distribute it to the people who need to read it. And the back end that we've developed here in-house is a completely custom system that is essentially, you might call it like a Hootsuite on steroids. And so it allows us to be very efficient and very effective in how we distribute this content to our customers, keep a relatively moderately sized, conservatively sized crew here at the office and service thousands of customers by utilizing the tools that we've developed in-house to give us those efficiencies that allow us to scale to thousands and dozens of thousands of customers.
Good. Rich, one of the questions that we often get, and I'll summarize this one as well, as you just mentioned, developed in-house. Is all the technology developed in-house, including stuff like email distribution? We're often asked, do you use Constant Contact? Do you have a CRM engine? How much of this is developed in-house, or how much is it done via partners?
Right. For the most part, it's safe to assume that almost all of it is done in-house. Occasionally, there are some partner bits that we bring in, or maybe occasionally here and there some open source code that we integrate into our systems. But almost entirely, it's developed in-house, and the sort of thing that others don't have access to. That's one of the unique advantages of Social5 is that you can't just go out there and say, hey, we want to duplicate this Social5 thing. Can we just partner with the people they're partnering with? Not exactly possible because we've written this code in-house and obviously guard it very carefully because we realize it's such an asset to making all this happen. So our strategy tends to be less of a partner approach and with regard to the technology and more of we want to build it and we want to do it right.
Very good. Thanks, Rich.
Yeah.
One of the other questions that we often get as we talk infrastructure, et cetera, often come around the idea of being able to secure the infrastructure. And so how would you address somebody who says, how do you secure your IT infrastructure?
Great question. To answer this, I think the safest sort of high-level way to answer it is that we follow the industry standards for these sort of things. I go into detail sometimes and people's eyes gloss over as I start spewing off acronyms and best practices and all that. But a few acronyms that might ring a bell for those listening would be that we, for example, with regard to credit card security, we are compliant with PCI compliance. We work with Authorized.net to make that happen, and all of our credit card processing is secure and safe. And we don't even have access to the credit card numbers, so that reduces some of the risk because we don't even have them. We just send them to Authorized.net, and they take care of all that credit card stuff. The data is with regard to the systems and keeping it online and accessible. We have backup systems in place, and the beyond backup. Well, we have a backup system here in Salt Lake City, Utah, as well as the actual server, which is in Chicago. So there's some geographic diversity there, which helps prevent data loss or disruption due to some sort of natural disaster. There's also data redundancy that we have on the server, a RAID instance, a RAID array that allows us to have some automatic failover. So if one of the drives goes down, the other one just sort of picks up without a glitch, without it, even taking a second off. So, and I have a feeling that maybe this is going a little bit too technical. So I'll just leave it there.
You did toss out an acronym when you said RAID. I'm just saying, I picked it up.
Yeah. So if others have more questions, sometimes people do have more questions about security and about all those details. We can address those as they come in.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because if anybody has any further questions or would like to speak with anybody here, myself, Rich, Rob, Jeremiah, it's real easy. Talk to your business opportunity advisor here if you're working with Mike or Dan or Matt, whoever it may be, John, etc. Let them know, and we can easily set that up. Rich, you started talking early about scaling the technology, started talking about your hosting environments. Specifically, we get questions along the lines of, how do you plan to scale if we're, as Rob mentioned, spanning the globe here and getting lots of advisors and doing the land grab? How do you plan to scale your technology as that customer base grows?
Right. Yeah. Great question. So this question is going to be a fun one to answer, because it's one of those questions that it's you could talk about it in theoretical terms. Sometimes you talk with a company or a business about scaling or about other things in the future and say, what would happen if this happens? Well, that's the reality for us. We are scaling. This is an ongoing challenge that we deal with. So this isn't theoretical. This is a very practical day-to-day thing that's on our mind that we're dealing with. So if you cast your historical perspective back 3 years or so, or however long it's been since Social5 started, and we had 0 customers, and then we had 1, and then we had 2, and now we're up to the point of several thousand. And you don't get to that point without going through several stages of scaling. You can't start, and when you're a business with 2 customers with an infrastructure that would support 8 or 10,000 customers. So we've already successfully scaled to this point, and there are mechanisms in place with regard to the software and the design of how we've set up this custom system, as well as the hardware that supports it, in order to take it not only from the 0 to 8 or 10,000 or wherever we're at right now, but beyond that to 50,000, 100,000 accounts and beyond. So that's something that's always on our minds, and we're constantly paying attention to making sure that is well taken care of.
Good, thank you. The last questions that we have in this area, Rich, all kind of face around almost the same thing, and that is technology challenges. So what are some of the biggest technology challenges you face or are facing, especially when we're taking a look at interfacing technologies with some big players, some third parties out there?
Right. I would say that one of the biggest challenges we have with regard to the technology and keeping it running is just dealing with all the changes that come from Facebook and other big players. Changes with regard to how they do business, new products they offer, changes to their API and the technology that supports that on their end. And Facebook's mantra early on was move fast and break things, and they certainly moved fast and broke many things. And that's sort of a joke in some circles that Facebook's just known as the one that just break stuff as they go, and we just have to figure it out and deal with it. But that's one nice thing about from a partner perspective about working with Social5 is that you don't have to worry about any of those details of what did Facebook break today, and how am I going to work with my developer or somebody to make sure that that's not a problem. That's the sort of thing that we worry about every day. I'm reading every single day to see what crazy thing Facebook has invented or broken, and then acting as fast as we can to make sure that we're up to date and that everything keeps running smoothly. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges, is just making sure that our offering remains relevant given the current sort of status quo of the environment. And if there's another player that comes up and takes Facebook's place, we're happy to integrate with them. So that's another one of the advantages of working with us, is that we're not tied to one social network. We have some flexibility from the mobile suite and email, Facebook, Twitter, et cetera, and we can adapt as new opportunities come around.
Great. Um, Rob, I don't see any more questions that they're coming up for Rich here. So I think Rich was like very, very thorough as usual in that. So nailed it. Way to go,
I just
Rich.
put them all to sleep. I hope you all enjoyed your nap.
Yeah. If you're having trouble sleeping, talk to the technical guy. So anyways, thanks, Rich. I hope that helps. And like I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, any follow-up you would like to have with any of us here and meet with the team, please reach out to your business opportunity advisor. And we're glad to help that. One of the questions that I get the most when I speak individually to folks who are investing in the opportunity is stuff that deals with what's going to happen to me in my first 30, 60, 90 days. What do you provide as far as training? What does a license include? And just to summarize that for you here in closing, that through the Social5 Development Group, we offer training and support to the licensee members. So we do some things where we offer up some things that they're open to take full advantage of. And we find the folks that are successful at this are the ones that are out selling. They're the ones that are setting goals, that are challenging themselves, and are using all the assets available to them to complete a sale. And that includes the folks that have been on this call here today. So we provide training. We do a fast start training program to get you up and running right away. As Rob mentioned, we give you access to the Social5 University. We give you access to the twice monthly advisor training series, where we teach you tools, techniques, where we introduce new products and how to sell them, the features, the benefits, etc., to help you be more successful. We also provide on-demand training in case you're struggling in a certain area of the sales process, right up into perhaps even understanding Twitter. We can bring in content experts to help you understand that. From a support standpoint, we give you access to an account manager who's been through the business and can help you navigate the waters and be successful. We give you a portal to get you access to resources like rate sheets and agreements and presentations that can help you in the sales process. We do a monthly newsletter that brings you up to speed on new products, product offerings, social media news, definitions, statistics, etc. We also have a mentoring program that as we bring you on board, we put you in touch with somebody who has sold hundreds of these packages to help you close your first deals, to help you hear what a presentation is like, to strategize prior to an appointment, during and after that appointment. And we also can have somebody just join you to listen in on your presentations, kind of like having your own sales engineer that can help you answer questions and close. So I hope that helps. That's a lot. I don't see any other questions coming in. Again, I want to thank you for your attention, your time today. We know it's valuable. We appreciate you giving us an opportunity to be able to. Let me just ask, was that answered?
On text, but you might want to verbally do it.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you calling that out. One of the questions that came through, and I wanted to make sure we got that answered, we did reply back, but one of the questions dealt with the idea of what are the commission for the licensees. We offer two separate licenses. One is the Master Development Advisor license. The other one is the Business Development Advisor license. The Business Development Advisor license, the commission is 18%. Everything you saw here that Rob and Jeremiah presented as far as the products, the product sets, the contesting, everything, you get your commission across the board, 18% on all of that. So I hope that helps. We've designed the products, the situation, so there isn't a negotiable type thing. You don't have to worry about that. If you're at the Master Development Advisor level, there's additional perks and benefits that your advisor can tell you about, but that commission level is 21%.
Of the gross revenue.
Of the gross revenue. Yep, very good. That comes there. So I hope that helps just quickly answer that one, Jalil and others. So we want to get you taken care of. So as we end today, let you know that we're still here to answer your questions. We're thrilled that so many of you joined us here today. We're again grateful for the opportunity we have to explain our business opportunity to you answer all your questions. Again, if you have follow-up, more questions, stuff that we can answer as you are kicking the tires and seeing if this fits for you, please let us know, and we're glad to help you out in any way we can to be able to do that. So with that, I think we'll call it a session. And again, thanks for your time.